Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Anne and today I'm going to be bringing you a very fun little trend that I've been seeing across TikTok and Instagram, and I wanted to bring it into a little bit more of a long form content because I am a long form content girly more so than Reels and TikToks. So this video is basically telling you a bunch of books that I wish I could read for the first time again. Now, these are some of my absolute all-time favorite books. A lot of these I'm going to reread or I have reread. So I'm very, very excited just to share some of my all-time favorite books with you that I wish I could reread. If I got amnesia, these would be sort of the pile of books that I had first run to so I could read them for the first time. So we'll just start with the top of the stack and we'll work our way through. So the first one is Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa. So I listened to this on audio as part of my Brie vlog. I'll link it up above and down below if you want to check it out. It was a love letter to Brie and I picked this one up. And I listened to it on audio because it was free on Audible with my Audible membership. And I am obsessed with this. This is book one in the Bargainer series. And in this one, we're following Calypso. And she ends up coming face to face with the Bargainer to help deal with an issue that she's come across. And the Bargainer offers her help. And when the Bargainer gives you help for something that you need or want, he will provide you with a bead that is on your skin and he will come and reclaim that bead. So you'll have to do something for him. And with Calypso, we're following her through her story, and it's been 7 years since she's last seen Desmond, the Bargainer. And she has a 327 beads up her arm. And everyone is confused and shocked by this because he never allows you to have more than one bargain with him at a time. But Calypso has like over 300 and it's a little bit crazy. And we watch Desmond kind of come back into her life and we're watching them sort of figure out why he left, and he needs help with a certain thing because the fae in his world, the women in his world are getting taken, and when they come back they are pregnant and they don't know what's going on here, and it's very different and confusing. So he needs her help, and it is just so good. I found that I was very shocked that this was set or like an urban fantasy setting, and when I was listening to this on audio I'd have to pause and rewind, and like I was writing out quotes. I've got pages and pages of quotes that I just love, so I would love to be able to read this for the first time physically with my eyeballs so I could annotate the heck out of this book. But now that I own a physical copy, a massive thank you to Brie for gifting this to me very recently, I can reread and annotate this and then continue with the series. I love this book so much, and if you haven't read this series I definitely think you should. It is a dark fantasy romance with some fun smutty times, so make sure to check this one out if you haven't checked it out before. I love it. It is just so good. The quotes in here are just stunning. Can I remember any off the top of my head right now? No. But I love this book so much. It is a second chance romance. We have quite a lot of tension and chemistry between the main characters, and it's just such a great time, and I loved it so much. So if you haven't read this one yet, please do, and just send me all your thoughts because I want to relive reading it for the first time again. The next one is This Deceit of Ours by Shannon Arlier. This is again another one that I read because of Brie. And this is another one that's been added to my shelf because of Brie. So again, massive thank you to Brie, and make sure you check out that Brie vlog. But this is a very underhyped book that I'm surprised hasn't blown up yet. This is a fantasy romance where we're following a Saoirse, and she kind of gets herself into a little bit of trouble with a demon, and he decides that he needs her help with a certain thing, and if she helps him by marrying him, he will help her find her father who has gone missing. And it is full of tension. It is just so good. I loved it. I had the best time with it. What's his name? Nessun is just the epitome book boyfriend. He is dark, he is broody, he keeps secrets, but watching their dynamic and watching them slowly fall in love with one another is just beautiful. And she is sassy. She doesn't take shit, and she still fights The banter between them is great. The sexual tension is great. The chemistry is stunning. And I just love this book. And if you haven't read it, I highly, highly, highly recommend it because it is so, so good. And I'm surprised it's not loved by more. So yeah, I'm very excited to continue with this series. I'm very excited to have book 1 on my shelf. So I will be rereading this at some point and annotating it. But I loved it so, so much. The next one was a wonderful gift by the wonderful Bessie. So massive, massive thank you to Bessie. She gifted me Phantasma by Kelly Smith. I read this on KU and I buddy read it with one of my good friends, Rosie, and it was such a fun time. In this one, we're following our main character, Ophelia, and her mother has just passed away, so she's taken on the role of necromancer in the family, and her sister decides that she's going to take part in Phantasma. Phantasma is this deadly competition where you have to survive these deadly games that are based on the 9 circles of hell. So Ophelia has to go and save her sister because that's what Ophelia does. She saves her sister and pulls her sister out of stupid things that she's done. And she comes across Blackwell. And Blackwell is a phantom in this house, mansion, whatever. And he decides that he is going to help her if she can help him find something that he's missing. And we're just watching Ophelia go through these games. They are dark, they are deadly. This is so gothic and atmospheric. And again, this is another one that I wish I could have read physically because I wanted to highlight so many things. I just love this book so, so much. It is dark, it is gothic, it is atmospheric. The tension between Blackwell and Ophelia is stunning. There is some reveals in here which I did guess quite from the beginning, but if you're not paying that much attention, you might get away with not seeing those things. But I just loved it. It was so, so good. And I have read Enchantra now as well, which is book 2 in this duology following Genevieve and Rowan. And I do have to say, I think I do prefer Phantasma just that little bit more. I really, really love Blackwell and Ophelia together. I just love a dark, broody man. And I just love, I really do love Blackwell. So this is another one that I really wish I could read for the first time again. The next one is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I read this for a dragon reading vlog back last year, and I was hearing some quite negative things about this, but I loved it. This is a 5-star read for me. It's one of my favorite reads of 2024. I loved it so, so much. This is definitely more of an epic fantasy, more so than a fantasy romance. There is romantic elements thrown in here, but I do find that this is more of a fantasy plot line more so than a romantic plot line. Since we're following Reeve, and she is an assassin, and she gets captured by these noble fae who are going to punish her for the crimes that she has committed. And she gets saved by this broody king who has lost a lot, and he is on a mission trying to get revenge for that loss. And it's a very slow burn. We're following Reeve as she has... Honestly, it's a very complicated story, and I do wish I could read this for the first time again and take it a little bit slower, but it was so, so good. I know a lot of people don't like this one, but I truly loved it. I am just an epic fantasy reader in general. So I definitely think that your expectations should be a little bit lowered for this one if you think this is going to be an epic fantasy romance story. But I love the tension between Can and Reeve. I love the magic system. I love the dragons in here. I love everything about this book, and I just wish I could read it for the first time again because it was so, so, so good, and I'm just obsessed. And I'm kind of sad that book 2 got pushed to 2026 because it was supposed to be releasing in 2025. And now it's not, so I'm kind of sad about that. The next one that I wish I could read for the first time again is Null and Void by R. Moody. R. Moody, like I'm telling you, R. Moody is one of my favorite authors, and this is the only book she's ever published. This is the only book she's published so far, and I have finally just gotten onto her street team, which is so amazing and one of my like dream accomplishments. But this is following our main character, who is a retired assassin, and she's been promised that she is never going to be sold, and she gets sold, and she has to help these group of people who are trying to find someone who is kidnapped. And the fan family vibes in here is just absolutely stunning. We have a cinnamon roll male main character, who our main character, what's her name? Mika, is kind of having a little bit of a flirtation with, and I just love it. I got it signed by the author. I read this as an ARC as well, and I can't even speak about how much I love this book. Moody's writing is so beautiful and lyrical, and the fan family in here, all of the characters I truly love. I just had the best time with this book, and I've been eagerly anticipating a reread, and I think I just need to do it because I am so freaking excited to own a physical copy of this. Massive thank you to Marley and Athena for gifting this to me for Christmas. It is just wonderful. But basically, yeah, it's just the best. I love it so much. With the fan family, we've got some the banter in here is also great. Mika is a badass female character who is not afraid to punch someone in the face because they are wrong, and she believes that they're doing something wrong and stupid, and I just love it. Love it. So if you haven't read Null and Void by R. Moody, and you're looking for something a little bit more dark, some fantasy romance which has a bit of a slow burn with cute nicknames, she's kind of puts him in his place multiple times, and it's kind of like will they won't they sort of dynamic. This one is for you. I mean it. You need to read this. It is chef's kiss. Favorite book. One of my favorite books of 2024. Another favorite book of 2024. As you can see, I've been reading a lot of really good books this year and last year, but it is Lights Out by Navisa Allen. This is another Brie. Thank you, Brie, for putting this on my shelf. I absolutely love you, and you have been spoiling me over the past few months. But this is a dark romance, and in this one we're following Ali. She is a trauma nurse and is kind of a little bit obsessed with masked men on social media. And she decides that she kind of wants to live out this kink just a little bit. So she messages her fuck buddy and is like, hey, what do you feel about this? Like, I'll make sure it's worth your while. And he's like, no, I'm not into that. Like, you haven't messaged me in 2 months. What's going on? No, we're not doing this. And she is a little bit upset about that. And he decides to show his best friend, and he's like, look at what Ali just messaged me. And Josh kind of freaks out because it's his masked TikTok. And not TikTok, but social media. And he is like, maybe she is into this. Maybe we need to explore this. So he kind of gets a little bit stalky with her. It gets a little bit fun. The banter is great. He does end up stalking her. And Josh is the most cinnamon roll stalker you could meet. I know that doesn't make sense, but it is. And the relationship he has with Fred the cat. Fred the cat is a main character in this book. I love it. If you don't know how many, I've read this book 3 times. All on audio, because the voice modulator, chef's kiss. Absolutely chef's kiss. I love it, but I'm so happy to have this on my shelf. So I will be definitely rereading this and annotating it at some point. I freaking love this book. The banter, the tension, there's this little bit of a thriller aspect that kind of goes into it at the end. It is just so good. I love Josh and Ali together. They are wonderful and beautiful and perfect for one another. And the spice is some of the best spice I've ever read. Navisa Allen is a genius, and I love this book so freaking much. So yeah. And going into a bit of a older read that I read many years ago, but still absolutely love and I'm obsessed with, and has made me the reader that I am today, is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Honestly, anything by Sarah J. Maas I wish I could read for the first time again, because I just love her writing. But this one, Throne of Glass, is just my Ride or Die series. So in this one we're following Selena Sardotian, and she is pulled out of the salt mines where she was a prisoner because she is an assassin. she gets put in this prison because she's an assassin, and she gets pulled out because the prince has decided that he needs her to take part in a competition and become, if she wins, she becomes the king's champion. And we're kind of following her on her story as she is trying to figure out who sent her to the salt mines, why she got there, and also dealing with these trials. And there is some mysterious things happening in the background. This series is so good. It goes in so many different directions, and there's so many reveals in here. There's so much character growth. There's so much love and banter and found family, and it's just the epitome of a beautiful, fantastical world. I love it so, so much. As you can see, I've read it and I've annotated it before. I've reread it last year, I think, and I am still going to be rereading it again and again and again. I do wish I could read this for the first time again, because I didn't know what I was getting involved in for when I first read it, but love it, obsessed. Selena is my spirit animal. I love Selena. I love all of these side characters, and I just love this story so, so much. So I'm very excited to continue to reread this series. And if you haven't read this one, come on guys, what are you doing? Get on the Throne of Glass series. I know ACOTAR is good and so is Crescent City, but this is her best work. I'm telling you right now. The next one that I wish I could reread for the first time again is a little bit of a different one for me, and I wouldn't say that this is like an all-time favorite book of mine, but I do wish that I could reread this again for the first time, because I had the best time reading this. I do think I read it a little bit too fast, and I didn't get to enjoy the story as much as I would have liked. But we've got Bride by Ali Hazelwood. So this is Ali Hazelwood's kind of first foray into paranormal romance, and my god, it is so good. In this one, we're following Misery and what's his name? Lo. Misery is a vampire and Lo is a werewolf, and they kind of end up in this arranged marriage where they have to work together to kind of simmer down the tension between their people. Vampires, werewolves, and humans don't get on. They all know about each other, but they don't get on at all. So this kind of marriage is kind of like the barrier of protection that is put in place to kind of keep everyone from killing one another. And Misery decides that she's going to do this because she believes that Lo knows something about someone that she's looking for. And we're kind of watching their story. Misery is trying to find out what happened to the person that's missing, and Lo is trying to deal with his emotions for Misery. And I loved it so much. I had the best time reading it and annotating it. And it was just so good. Like immediately he's like calls her his wife, and just the tension between them is great. And I love that he like just really protects her and loves her. You can see it right from the beginning how much he loves her. And I just so good. And I'm very excited for book 2 in this series to come out, although it's not following Misery and Lo, it's following Misery's best friend, but I'm still very, very excited for it. The next one I read in a couple of years ago, I think. I don't think it was last year. I'm pretty sure it was 2023. I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2023. And that is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Maybe I did read it last year. I don't know. I can't remember. But this is an epistolary novel. So in this one, we're following the bride of Dracula. And she is writing letters to Dracula explaining why she did the thing that she did. Right at the beginning, we know what she did, and we're kind of watching the whole story unfurl. This one explores abuse, trauma, gaslighting, and so many difficult topics, so please be aware going into that. But it is beautiful. I love this so much. It is dark, it is gothic, it is atmospheric, it is vampires, it is dealing with very heavy topics, and I just love it. It is so good. This was traditionally published, indie published, and then it got traditionally picked up. But I highlighted so many things with this one. Just to give you a sample of the writing. You seemed to me a fire burning in the woods. I was drawn in by your enticing smoky darkness. A darkness that still stirs memories of safety, of autumn, of home. I touched you the way I would touch any other man, trying to make my eager presence known and inscribe some sense of intimacy between us. But it was like grasping at a flame. I never penetrated to the burning heart of you, only came away with empty, scorched fingers. Like, come on. Stunning, beautiful. I love it. You held a hand out to me silently. I pushed myself up onto shaking legs and took a few tentative steps towards you. In that moment, I couldn't have predicted what would happen next. You could have kissed me or slit my throat, and either would have made as much sense. Still, I walked to you. Slow, obedient steps. I walked when I should have run the other way. Come on. If you haven't read this, you need to, because it's so good, so beautiful, lyrical writing. Like the writing is so good that you read a sentence and it makes you want to cry because it's so beautiful. And it's so hard hitting. I just love it so, so much. And I definitely think that you should check it out. And the last couple of books that I want to talk about is just one entire series that I wish I could read for the first time again. And that is the Everseas series. So starting with the Ever King, the Ever Queen, and the Mist Thief. I read the Ever King the end of last year, and I read the Ever Queen and the Mist Thief at the beginning of this year in January. I just love this series. So these are the indie editions. They are being traditionally published now, so I'm kind of happy that I do have the indie paperbacks. So I will be rereading these at some point with the traditional paperbacks, and I'm going to be keeping these for like safekeeping because they might be very expensive at some point. But I love this series so, so much. This is following book 1 and book 2 is following Eric and Olivia, and Eric kidnaps Olivia as revenge for her father, killing his father, and we're just watching their enemies to lovers stories. This is like this is Pirate Fae, and it's just so good. I loved it, and it's great, and I'm very, very excited. And book 3 is following Jonas and Skady, who are side characters in the series, in the first 2 books. So I just love this whole series with my whole entire heart. It lives front free in my brain, and I'm just wish I could read them for the first time again. It was so fun. And again, these are courtesy of Miss Brie. I did read these for the Brie vlog as well. I did buy these myself, but they were read for the Brie vlog. So a lot of my absolute new favorites are because of Brie. So massive thank you to Brie, if you're watching this, for gifting me all of the books that are on this pile and for getting me to read some of my absolute favorite books. Massive thank you to Marley and Athena for gifting me Null and Void, and to wonderful Miss Bessie for gifting me Phantasma. You have all been spoiling me so, so much lately, and I love you all so much. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a like, comment down below if you've read any of these books, or tell me some of the books that you wish you could read for the first time again, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Bye.